Welcome to Soulfire Wisdom with Kate Olson. As an evolving spirit and change adventure navigator, it is Kate's mission to empower and guide you on your path and inspire your truest passions. She will encourage you to share your gifts, speak your truth, and ignite your inner wisdom and purpose. She hopes to do so with a little humor and grace and her own soulfire passion. Kate talks with amazing guests who have embraced the pursuit and are fanning the flames of their own passion, purpose, and soulfire wisdom. Now here's your host, Kate.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Soulfire Wisdom and Tips, Tricks, and Triumphs Tuesday. So if this is your first time listening, I'm a hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, Reiki master, and a life coach. But I like to call myself a change adventure navigator because I love helping people through obstacles and adversity to find their path, purpose, and peace. So today I've been a little upset because, as you know, I'm in Arizona now, and it snowed. It snowed this morning. That's what I moved here for, to get away from that. But I'm okay. It actually all melted, and the sun is out now. But I do have a triumph for this week. I've talked a couple of times about all the things that I have still to put together from moving. And I actually got several things put together this week. I bought a little stove because my HVAC system is out, and I put that together. And I put together an office chair and a cabinet. So all I've got left to put together is 2 dining room chairs and a storage cabinet. So, the end is in sight. So I kind of see that as a big triumph. I think probably by the end of, hopefully by the end of January, but at least by the first week of February, I should be almost feeling moved in. So we have a great show planned for today. My guest is Dr. Gigi Sition. And Gigi is the founder of Holistic Physical Therapy. She's a doctor of physical therapy. And she believes in a holistic, multidisciplinary approach to healing. She has a clinic in Dallas, Texas. And she's also a speaker and an author. And I met her in 2017 at the Personal Development Symposium, where we were both speakers at the Harvard Faculty Club. And Gigi had a very entertaining presentation that year. She's written a book, The Sexy Art of High Heel Walking. And she actually did her presentation on that topic. And I have to say, she was one of the most entertaining speakers that day. She's written another book, Your Body is a Healing Machine. And we actually did a soul talk on that topic. And so now she has a trilogy of books on epigenetics. And so that's what we're going to talk with her about today. And I'm really excited to have her here. Hi, Gigi.
Hello, thank you for inviting me, Kate.
So you had some big news today. I was surprised at that. She told me that she's retiring.
Oh, yes. Yahoo! It's here. A long-term vacation.
Yeah, well, that's exciting.
So technically, it's not too much retired. I still do lectures and write books, and it's just not doing clinical work. So
Unless you miss it too much.
I know I might come back.
Okay. So before we get started with the other questions, can you tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself and what brought you to your current path?
So I am from originally from the Philippines. I am a physical therapist. I have a doctorate in physical therapy, but my background is really like a serendipitous why I come here. I started out as civil engineering and then psychology, and I was about to go to medical school. That's why I did bachelor in science and psychology, but my parents were assassinated. So I had to have a plan B. The plan B was physical therapy. My sister was here in the US and she told me, hey, why don't you take physical therapy instead? Because, no more money for medical school. And said, it's amazing work at the hospital. They don't do anything. I said, oh, I want that job done. Do anything. So I went to, because you don't have night duty, weekend, and you don't wipe. I said, no injections, no blood, nothing. He said, no, they just walk patients and they're done because she's an ICU nurse. So she watched these physical therapists do their thing. I was like, you like to walk and you like to dance. That's all they do. I was like, oh, I like that job. I have no idea what's that about. But it's very interesting because I loved it. I ended up loving it. But the fact is, the way they taught it did not make sense to me, to my engineering brain, because there's a big detach on how the body is designed and how body is being fixed. Because physical therapy, you have to fix the body, help people rehab. And I said, based on the design, they're not really going with what it's supposed to be. If you're an engineer, you want to fix a bridge, you don't just, if the bridge is wonky, you just don't fix one side. You have to fix everything to balance everything. And that was always my stickler. Like, I am an engineering in heart. Once you're an engineering trained, I think you're stuck with that kind of thinking. And also with my psychology background, I know the brain affects physiology. And so with that psychology and engineering background, to fix somebody, you can't just tell them, well, your back hurts, stretch, because there's so many layers of that back, the electrical, the metabolic, the emotional. And so that kind of led me to the path. And I didn't know that there was a scientific name on my hunch. And I realized about 20 years ago, it's called epigenetics. So I didn't know what I was into, but my gut telling me that it's when you fix a bridge, you just don't turn one knob. You have to do the material.
So tell us exactly what epigenetics is.
So epigenetics is from Latin word epi, is around, surrounding, environment, outside in, and then genetics is your genes. So the new paradigm, because for the past 17 years, we were told that whatever your genes, that's it, you're going to get it. Your genes run your biology. Well, epigenetics is not like that. Your genes is that 5 to 10%. The rest is what your environment runs your biology. So you're really more in control, because the old paradigm is you're a victim of your genes. Your mom has cancer, you're going to get it. But you know very well that it doesn't work that way. But if you eat like your mom, if you think like your mom, if your responses to your emotions like your mom, if you don't sleep like your mom, you're going to get it, because you have that switch. It's like all of us, genes is like a switch. We inherit a switch. But
Mm-hmm.
decisions
So how
affect.
did you discover or get interested in epigenetics?
I was always interested in something like this, but I just didn't know it was called epigenetics. Like I was born in the Philippines in the South. It's like the rainforest. We plant our own food. I grew up without electricity. So everything we made, we had no grocery stores. We went to the market every day. And my father was a big herbalist. My father's family is an herbalist from Sikihor. So I kind of grew up that you fix with food, you fix with herbs and acupuncture. I never saw a doctor until I had to come to America when they give you the medical exam. You have to pass the medical exam. I had no idea why they have to check me. I said, why? I said, you're going to America. You need to have a clean bill of health. And said, well, I'm never sick. I never see a doctor because my mom's first cousin was a medical doctor. And he'd always say, don't come see me because you guys are fine. So I've always interested in more natural alternative way and how it affects. It's just didn't know it's called epigenetics.
So you have your genetics, and then you have two others. So first, why a trilogy? And
Well, it was
second,
it was so long. I intended to write one book.
So tell us what those three books are and a little bit about what each one is about.
So it took me 3 years to 4 years to write this book. And my intention just to write one book. When I submitted to the publisher and said nobody reads 1,000 pages, we have to split it in 3 parts. So it's 3 parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 is what epigenetics is, the history and what's current, why it's needed. Part 2 is the anatomy, the sciences, where in epigenetics it really affects your genetics, your cell. And then part 3 is what you can do about it, how to heal yourself. So all this was divided because I intended to write just one book. But when they publish it, it's like, gee, nobody reads 1,000 pages. And
so is this book or these books, are they intended for like the general public, or are they
Yes, and that made the book really hard to write because it's for general public from it's like junior high to 90 years old. So there's minimal technical words. Like one technical word, it will take me 2 pages to explain. So, and intend to do that because I want epigenetics to be as normal as anything, as a new paradigm that people said there's an alternative. Like your fear affects your biology, all of that.
So this question that you suggested, and I didn't know why, so I'm going to ask it and find out what the answer is, and that is, how are titles designed? So
I'm sorry?
How are titles designed?
Well, it's designed to make sure that it's not scientific. It's like understanding. So you will not be kind of overwhelmed that it's not too scientific. For me, there's a difference between knowing and understanding. Understanding is you remember it without memorizing and then incorporating it. So the key word there is about understanding epigenetics and how it started, why it's needed. And all the titles of the book really make sure that you understand why it comes from. And especially because Mark Lackett is my partner, it come up with that word and he said, gee, I was trying to understand epigenetic, how you say it. It's like understanding how God made you. It's just like understanding how it works. And that's why I put that in, because it really matters when people understand how they work. And so they know how to keep themselves healthy.
Okay, so what is important for people to know about epigenetics? What are the main things that are going to help someone if they know about it?
You are the driver of your own genes. You are not the victim. That's mainly what it is. So most people are afraid because, family history. We've been in that about 70 years, like the cancer gene, oncogene, when some, especially with the cancer, it's always kind of marketed like it's genetics. There's about 15% that's genetics, and that's are the children, the brain tumor on the children. But if you're an adult and you got a cancer, 90% of that, 95% of that is how you live, how you eat. And so if you know if you get it how you live, you can fix it and how you live too. It's the cure. The cure is actually as simple as the problem if you acknowledge it that way. If that's your mental paradigm, it's really as easy as that. And that's why I remember you mentioned in diabetes, it's hard for them to change. Well, because they rely on medicine. So if they're not told saying, well, it's really, you got diabetes because of how you eat and how you sleep and how your lifestyle. So if that causing the pain, then that should be the solution. It's like saying, if you have a nail on your big toe, it causes infection and it causes the pain. You're not going to say, give me antibiotics and leave the nail on your big toe. You want to take that big toe, a nail out of the big toe, and then support. It's like exactly like diabetes. You're asking pain medication, insulin and all that, but you're not addressing the nail on the big toe, which is what you ate.
Yeah.
And so when they said, oh, I have diabetes, it's like walking with a nail on the big toe, but they're taking pain medication to control the pain.
Yeah, true.
If when my diabetic patients that come to the clinic, they have back pain, they can't walk, they have neuropathy. When I presented it that way, I said, look, you come to me with a neuropathy. What's stopping that nerve? The sugar. Well, if you keep eating the sugar, you're wasting your time with me because then the nail is in the big toe. But if we change your lifestyle, we change your diabetes, I can make you normal, as good as new, because you're guaranteed to have new cells. Your body is designed to make new cells every 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, if given a chance to, nutrition. It's like a plant. If you keep eating it, you'll get a new plant. If you don't, it'll die. So it's like every cell of your body can be renewed every 90 days. You will have a new cell. That's why when people start to change their diet, they look young. Well, because they made young cells because of the food they eat and the way they sleep and the way they think. So your body is designed for health and regeneration. That's why you're not designed to be sick. The only reason why you're sick, because you did not help your body to be young. So you're not really a victim of it, unless you have a car accident, you have no control over that. But if you're really talking about degenerative diseases like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, I'm just talking about those diseases. If you have them, you have to be aware that 90% of that is from you. You did not inhale it in the air. It's not contagious. And it took time. It's not overnight. It took time to get there. So when you acknowledge where the problem, it's like when you call red, you can address red. But if you massage red, if you say it's maroon, it's rosé, you can't address the problem. And most of my patients always say, oh, my mom got diabetes. Oh, my mom got high blood pressure, so I got it. I said, no, you were born without it. You didn't have high blood pressure for 50 years. You just have it now. So your mom didn't give it to you, because if she gave it to you, you would have have it since you were 1 year old. So, and they go, oh, I didn't know that. You just have the potential to get it, but you don't have to activate that potential. It's like the light switch. It's there, but you don't have to turn it on.
So what is the purpose of your books? What do you hope to achieve with them?
I hope to empower people that you're not really helpless. You're not a victim. You're not like your doctor knows everything and you can't be fixed without the doctor. That your body is already knows how to fix itself. It's like you have a self-driving machine. You just need to get the direction and the GPS. And if you know that, it will do anything for you. That's why the difference between an Olympic champion and we are, because the Olympic champion make decisions every day, good health and practice. Your body will do anything and whatever you feed and you do with it. So the potential is there, even avoiding being sick, even with this COVID, you can fortify yourself. You are in control. 90%, 95% of your immune system is what you do. It's not what you inherit. So people said, "Oh, I have inherited an immune system." It's like, no, that's not how the body works. You have it, you just have to take care of it and you have to feed it. It will always work for you. And that's why you hear these people, they have cancer and they cure their cancer. When they change their life, that they didn't cure their cancer. Your body knows how to cure cancer. It just needs help from you. If you give it the raw material, the environment, your body knows what to do with it.
So you have an online class that
Yes.
kind of goes with your books. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we're launching the webinar because it's certified for continuing education for healthcare professional. So, and it's for everybody. It's not just for healthcare, by the way, but just know that you will have credits if you're a healthcare professional. It'll be launching in February. It's a webinar and all the module 1, 2, 3, and it coincides with the book. And it has practical information. We're starting to do the production right now. We're actually been starting to do planning it, producing it, and it will be launched by February.
Okay. How is the class designed? Is it like a course or
Yes.
lectures?
Yeah, it's a course, it's a lecture, it has practical things, and it's a webinar you can access anytime. The reason why we did that, because I have requests all over the world, Africa, Asia, and so we want to put it on a webinar format for Epigenetics 101. And then the Epigenetics 202 will do a live webinar. So you will do an, higher level. And we have so many requests, like the medical schools here, that they want it as a part of a good curriculum. And if somebody wants to teach it, so anybody could teach it, you have to go through the training because it's a totally new paradigm and I need help. I can't be the only one teaching about this. And so the more people know about it, I'm happier that way, because it really worked with my patients in my clinic. Once we taught them, you have so many stories that they got better. And we have patients that have been in pain for 22 years. And when they applied epigenetics, their doctors, their nurses, they're pain-free now without medications.
So give some examples of what can be done with epigenetics.
So in my book, Miss Sheila Kay, she's an ER nurse. She was an ER nurse. 22 years ago, she had a car wreck, major car wreck. And she had the reflex dystrophy. It's like your body's on fire 24 hours a day in her arms, and the left side more than the right. And she's been to all the doctors because she's an ER nurse. She went to all the doctors across the country. And she used to live in Michigan, and she had to live here in Texas because of the cold weather. Her body gets on fire. She needs warm weather, she was told. So that's how she found me. And so when she saw me, she was on a cane, and she was wobbly and wobbly and in pain. And she just looked at me and she goes, "You can't fix me. I've been in pain for 22 years. I'm an ER nurse. I know what I'm doing. What can you do for me?" And because her doctor made her see me and said, "You need to see Gigi," because she has so much medication. She takes 22, 3 times a day. And she has like the piano looking for medications. And she said, and I asked her, there's 2 ways in life. Do you want to do this medication or you want to trust your body that will handle it? But you need to be supportive. And if you make that decision, I can guide you. So I always tell myself, I'm a guide. I'm not going to heal you. Your body will heal you, but I can translate for you. I'm a guide and a translator. When your body does this, I can tell you what that means and what you can do. So she said, "Okay, I'll give you 2 weeks. If I'm still in pain in 2 weeks, I'm going back to my drugs." I mean, these are opioids and real drugs. And she takes about 500 milligrams. I mean, that's like druggy, but she's in pain. So she did the epigenetics thing. We clean up her diet. We add water. We hydrate. We took all the sugar. We took all the thing. In 2 weeks, she was just running to the clinic, and she couldn't believe that her arms and legs were moving. And now, she was with us for at least 7 months. Now she's dancing. She's a totally different woman. So your body, and the thing with us is you want it quick. You want a quick fix. And I always tell them, I cannot tell you how long it takes. Your body will let us know. So do it until it works and don't give up on it, because if halfway, it can go back down. So like we have an RA patient. He's an engineer. He had rheumatoid arthritis for 25 years. He's on methotrexate and his joints were like this and he couldn't move. And he's a very smart engineer. So he said, "My doctor sent me to you. I'm always like the last hope. Send me the help. It's like, if it doesn't work this, go to Gigi." So I told him, whatever you've done before is not working. Are you open for a new way? And this new way is nothing involved with drugs. When your brain is okay with that, I'll be your guide. I'm not going to heal you, but you're going to heal yourself, but I'll be your guide. Right now, he's biking 10 miles a day. For a guy that's can't even drive. He's doing woodworking. He's building his church. He volunteers to churches and build the churches. So it's just the epigenetic. It's diet, hydration, sleep, and forgiveness. And your brain runs your biology. You have to address all that, and then your body will say, "Okay, there's no threat."
So when you make changes, when this transformation that your body does of healing happens, are you actually changing your genes?
Yes. Updating. You're not changing it, you're updating it. There's a difference because your genes sequence, there's a sequence. You can't change the sequence, but you're updating it to stronger sequence. They're bonding better.
Yeah. You're not changing the structure.
Yeah, the structure, yes.
But they call it you're changing the expression of the gene.
Yes, it's more efficient. So expression means is turning on and off a disease. That's gene expression. So you're not changing the structure, but you're changing the way if it's turning it on and turning it off. So I always tell my guys, like I had cancer patients right now. He had mastoid salivary cancer. Now it's gone. And they took the muscle was hollow and the muscle grew back. And he said, he's 72 years old. He had gray hair when he started. He hardly have gray hair now because of what we have done. So it really, I can't tell you what's going to happen to you. Your body will fix what's necessary, and your body will decide what's to be fixed first. But my job is to make sure that you know what that means. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, this is what's happening. We need to do this. So it's really, I'm just guiding you what to do, but your body's doing all the work.
Yes. And like, okay, I took a DNA test and found out about my genetics. So apparently I have a propensity for celiacs, but I don't have celiacs.
See, that's
No
exactly
matter what I do, I will always have that propensity.
yes.
But
You
that
don't
does
have
not
to turn it
mean,
on.
yeah, but that does not mean I have to have that disorder.
See, that genetic testing is like the scene of the crime. If you have a bad gene, the scene of the crime doesn't cause that. It's just the result. So if you have like the celiac disease gene, that means you have that, but it's not on. Based on your symptoms on your body, it's not on. You're able to turn it off. Whatever you're doing, you keep turning it off. You're not activating it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like if I had celiacs, then I could do certain things to
Turn it off.
yes, but if that would be involving the expression of that gene.
And
But
knowing,
not the structure, it would still have the same structure.
yeah, but knowing that you have that potential, it makes you a conscious effort to eat right. It makes you a conscious effort that, okay, then I need to support to keep it turning it off. I'm not going to play tempting it to turn it on by eating bad.
Being aware does help.
Yes. I mean, it's like if you have a house, you know that there's a light switch on the attic. You don't need it, but you know it's there.
True. Yes. So, besides being retired, what are your future plans? What's next on the agenda?
So the publicist wants me to do traveling lecture. So for now, we're doing online lecture, but they really want to do in person, like the medical schools here. They want to include epigenetics as like a you call it a supporting course at the moment. And I'd like to do that. I really want to do the education part of it. And when the book's out, they do book launching online, but it doesn't, that's doesn't do much. You need to kind of do the in person once the travel is open. But it really helps me because then I'm trying to learn how to do online lectures and webinars. But my passion is education.
Yeah.
I like to talk.
Yes, yes. Well, you are good at, as I said, your speech was one of the more entertaining, but it was also very educational,
Thank you. I'd like to have it fun because your brain remembers fun memories better than anything because every time you smile, you increase your blood circulation in your brain by 80%. So retention is better. And
So,
even oxygen intake with your mouth. If this is my engineering way. If you smile, you open your nasal opening for about 40%, you inhale oxygen better. And so you function better and your brain has more oxygen. And so you 80% in functioning. So if you have it fun and you smile, it's a better retention.
yes, definitely. So, how do you find a relationship between physical therapy and epigenetics?
Yeah, I think physical therapy should be taught epigenetic way because it gave the traditional way of doing physical therapy. That's why people hate physical therapy. They tell me, oh, it never worked, you know, because some people are, because in physical therapy, 60% of the time it's not just physical pain. And we were taught in PT school, if they don't respond with exercise, they're crazy, they're malingering. We were never taught about the other 40% that is just not physical. We were just taught if they don't respond to your magic exercise and magic technique, it's a patient's fault. And back in my mind, I said, that cannot be, that cannot be. There's other causes for back pain, neck pain. So if we address it the whole holistic way, we are better effective physical therapy wise.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. My experiences with physical therapy have been pretty, they were related to breaking my arm.
Yeah, that's like physical, that's
Yeah,
trauma.
so it was very physical, yes. And it worked. I mean, it was good.
Yeah. But that's not all we see in our clinic. We have a lot of emotional pain. We have spiritual pain. We have a lot kinds of pain. And I do pelvic floor, men and women.
Really?
And that kind of practice, a lot emotional. And they go all over the place because nobody do pelvic floor therapy, because that's the bottom of the totem. Nobody wants to be a pelvic floor physical therapist because it's the dirty work, but it's the most rewarding work, because once you fix somebody's pelvic floor, like a totally different person. Like the men and the women, I mean, 60% of women has bladder incontinence. And I hate it when I see this commercial. Oh, my diaper is good. I'm thinking, do you know that 90% of them is reversible? Because your pelvic floor is like a muscle. When you have an ankle sprain, you just don't put bandage on it the rest of your life. You want to fix it, right? So
Yeah.
an ankle sprain recovers, right? After you sprain it and then you recover. Why is it when people have pelvic floor problem like bladder incontinence, you're being told just get a diaper? It's a muscle. You can reverse it. And so like a bladder is a muscle. It's like a sprain in the bladder. And so when we see that in my patients, they're like totally different. It's like, I can wear tongue, I can do this, I can walk without going to the bathroom, I can laugh without leaking. I said, it's a muscle weakness. And men, all this ED stuff, half of them are really muscle weakness. And anything with physical therapy and muscle, they could fix it. But nobody wants to do that dirty work, like you want to go there, but it's the most amazing.
I don't know if it's any worse than, having the diapers.
Yes, I know, and it breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart when I hear a lady they have to wear pads, and it's like, when if you have broken your ankle, you wouldn't like wear that bandage for 30 years. You would want to fix it, and you should fix it, And it's really an amazing way to give a person empowerment, because 65% of women have bladder incontinence. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's
I
a
had
lot.
no idea that it would be that.
Especially having babies,
Yeah, I suppose.
And a lot of people don't realize that they don't respond well with birth control pills. That messes with their bladder, and they don't make that connection.
Yeah, a lot of medications have
Mm-hmm.
effects that you don't realize until you have some kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like my sister is a nurse. She's the ICU nurse. Every time we go with her, we have to go every bathroom, every store. Do you have a bathroom? Do you have a bathroom? When I talked to her, hey, you need to see a pelvic floor physical therapist, she looked at me like I was nuts, like I have three eyes. It's like, whoa, I take this pelvic bladder medication and I have a diaper. What else can I do? I said, fix it, reverse it, completely. But she looks at me like, no, I'd rather take medication than spend 8 weeks with physical therapy. It's not convenient, but it's a worthwhile investment of time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that's puzzling to me, as well as when we were talking before the show, is my friend actually says, that changing his diet, giving up those things that he eats, his life wouldn't be worth living. I don't understand. It's just, I don't understand that choice.
Yeah. But let me example an epigenetics way of diabetes. The epigenetics explanation of diabetes will start with physiology. This physiology is not going to change over time. So the conventional medicine definition of type 2 diabetes, I'm talking type 2, not type 1. Right. Yeah. It's a metabolic disease. You know what that means? It's a fancy name of what you eat. It's a cause of what you eat, bad food.
Yeah, your metabolic system isn't working properly because it isn't able to process the nutrients correctly.
So which body part is not processing, the pancreas or the liver?
Probably both of them.
Diabetes is actually a liver disease. You're always told it's the pancreas, but the pancreas is making insulin. So the insulin is supposed to, once you eat, you produce insulin so you can bring the glucose into the muscle. The organ that's not doing its job is the liver. The liver is supposed to take that glucose to let it into your muscle. But when your liver is too tired, it's called insulin resistance.
Yeah.
So what are you fixing? Are you fixing your pancreas or are you fixing your liver? You need to fix your liver. Once your liver is fixed, then there's no more type 2 diabetes. So what does it take to fix the liver? What's the function of the liver? It's digestion. So if you keep eating something,
and detox it.
Yeah, and your body cannot digest and heal. You have to pick one. So this is why fasting works with diabetes. If you just let it heal for 8 weeks, it's like a broken leg. After 8 weeks, you can eat anything again. The type 2 diabetes is gone. You don't need medications, but you have to do that 8 weeks of detox and not eating bad food and all that. 8 weeks. That's it.
But there's a mental component to it too.
Well, because it's not convenient and it's very addictive.
Like a lot of the people that have diabetes, they'll have some kind of a compulsive eating problem, and that is caused by an emotional.
Yeah, issue. Because they're using food as their friend.
Yeah,
that's the crutch. So this is why in epigenetics, that's the emotional component of diabetes, and that's why you have to address that. If you're using food as your friend, because food is inanimate object, that should not be your friend. It just gives you the high hormone, but that's not your friend. That's not
an illusion of comfort.
Yes. And so once you address the emotional component of diabetes, switching your lifestyle, it's so easy. And that's why epigenetics works, because it's not just changing your diet. We send them to life coach. So you know how the coping mechanism, you address the pain while you're numbing it with sugar. So once you're not numbing it with sugar, you leave your liver alone and your liver will heal, So that's why the medication for diabetes doesn't really work because it's just beating the liver again, more medication, more liver work.
Well, it's actually promoting the malfunction because you're giving it insulin.
Yeah. So if I always tell the patient, when they have diabetes, they have high sugar, and then they take insulin, the sugar in the blood go down. Where did the sugar go?
To their liver.
No, it went to their nerves, to the eyeballs, to the muscle.
Oh, yeah. So that's what's causing the neuropathy and all of those things.
Yes. So when you read that medicine, it will cause neuropathy. It's like the sugar didn't go anywhere. The sugar went somewhere and rusted the other parts. So it's not like you're really addressing. Like, I hate these commercials like, oh, my A1C went down. I was like, that's not diabetes. That's just a symptom of A1C. Yeah, your A1C went down. So where did the sugar go? You didn't stop eating sugar. You're still eating it, but your A1C went down. Where did the sugar go? So it went somewhere.
Yeah. So we're getting close to the end of the time. So I have a couple more questions. One of them is sort of not related, but I've been asking all of my guests lately. And that is, what has surprised you most about life so far?
For me, there's so much to learn. And you are never know enough. It's like once you have it, knowing that you don't know enough, it's exciting. There's so much to learn. But if you have the idea like you already know everything, then that's a boring life. So I like discovery. I like learning new stuff. I like finding out new ways, and I like knowing what's I didn't know before, and I like acknowledging that I don't know anything.
And that surprised you? You thought at some point you would know everything?
No, I don't want to know everything because then life stops. So I want to continue this discovery like a treasure hunt. Like my life is a series of treasure hunt. Some good, some bad, but it's exciting treasure hunt.
Okay. So if you could leave the listeners with one thought from today's show, what would you want that to be?
I think that you need to be okay with your immune system. You need to trust your body that it will do an amazing job. You're designed to do that. You're designed to be healthy. You're not designed to be sick. So if you're sick, you need to get back to your healthy design.
Okay. So if people want to find out more about your books or find out when you're going to be starting this book tour or find out about the class, how would they contact you?
My website is www.gigisition.com.
Okay.
It's everything there. What I do, books, webinar, it's all in that website, gigisition.com.
And if they happen to live in Dallas and they want to find you?
I'm in Houston.
Oh, Houston. Okay. If they happen to live in Dallas, they have to go to Houston.
Yeah, they can come down. Yes. And I do online consultation, which I've been doing right now because, COVID with web health online. And that's what I've been busy with that a lot. Like I do 10 a day of online consult, and they can book it on my website.
Okay, great. Thank you for being here today and talking about this. It is exciting, and I'm excited about your your plans for the future.
I am so excited for you in your new adventure in Arizona.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that adventure. Life is an adventure.
Exactly. Take care. Thank you so much, Kate.
Okay, we have another great show planned for next week. Next week, my guest will be Hera Allison, and she is a photographer, and she kind of tells a story with her photography.
Wow.
And she has an interesting life story. I discovered her because I just could see that she felt so passionately about what she does. So tune in next week. Next Tuesday is, I think, February already. February 7th.
Already. Wow.
And 3 p.m. And we'll find out a little bit more about Hera's photography. So thanks again, Gigi.
Thank you, Kate.
All right. I'm just going to say bye for now.
Bye for now.
Welcome to Soulfire Wisdom with Kate Olson. Thank you for listening to Soulfire Wisdom with Kate Olson. We hope you enjoyed the show. If we made you laugh, brightened your day, or sparked a new thought, we have succeeded in our mission. Join us next time when we'll share more secrets and truths and all the magic of transformation that is the journey to Soulfire Wisdom. Always remember, be fierce in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire.
Bye-bye.
Bye.